Hey, boys and girls, weather report February 9th, 2022.
You know, I'm kind of disappointed, Speed.
Why?
It's just kind of shaking my 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 social roots. They're arguing in the side chat about using the Bible to indicate which time zone in the world is God's time zone. I can't believe we've fallen that bad.
Central time zone is God's time zone. That's the one that Jesus used.
Yeah. At least that's the one that Jesus landed in when he flew away. Because didn't he land in Missouri or something?
Yeah, according to the Mormons, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Central time.
Yeah, definitely Central time. It was Central time all along. It's the only time zone. We all know this. So what's happening over on Rebecca's Examining Evolution stream? She has some guy called Paleologos Peter, and he has a channel. How about that?
Wouldn't it be neat if he sounded like Peter Griffin?
Yeah. Okay, so here's his channel. I'm gonna put that in
I
chat.
thought that would be funny, but maybe I'm the only one thinking about things like that.
Oh, there it is. There's his channel, and here he is on Rebecca's channel, talking live to Rebecca. So, anyway, we'll see what that's about. We'll also put him in our video description. He's a new person. I have not heard of him before. Is anybody else?
I don't know. He looks awfully young, like maybe he's a high school enthusiast.
Let's see. What's the name of his channel? Paleologos. How about that?
Wait a minute. I don't think he is a pull that back up there. I don't think he's a
he's a Christian.
Yeah, he's a Christian. So
okay. Channel dedicated to proclaiming the truth about God as a creator. I confirm the truth of recent creation. Oh, he's a young earth. He's a yak. Oh, yay. Oh boy. A new one. More meat, more fucking protein. Can sink our teeth into this guy. All right. What's he got? Debating hominin baraminology with, he debated Erica.
Yeah.
Erica.
Oh, yeah, Erica. Erica with a K.
Rebecca. Yeah. Homo habilis is a human. Morphology of the genus. Oh, so he's going to be another little standing for truth, or no, maybe another Self-Cordova type, where he uses like real science to misrepresent real science. What do you think? Excellent. Home.
Amazing.
Ooh, he's got a trailer. Exciting. That's enough. In light of God's word, we get all of our science from the Bible.
Yeah, that's what makes your science real shitty.
Yeah, we get our conclusions from the Bible, and then we go ahead and do the science by reading papers and picking the parts that match.
Dig it up, date it, do other comparisons, but don't read another book to tell you what you ought to come up with.
Yeah. Yes. So let's see what's been happening. I came up with a story.
Well, first we want to note that we have a member of the fold has briefly come home to visit, and that's Minnie Karen.
Oh yeah,
he's in the side chat. He hails out of somewhere in the Levant.
Somewhere in the desert.
That's right, and we're glad to have him. Hopefully, he'll be able to come in and interact with us more. He's had a work schedule shift or something.
Ooh, Erica and Peter. Okay, Eric. We have Eric 311. We have Chris Peacock. We have Nerdy Rodent. KCA Randy. Scott Duke is here, and Icarus.
I hear that Scott Duke's a loser, though.
He is.
We have Mom.
Oh, Mom's here. Okay, so
room.
What is this? Okay, Erica and Peter video has a dumpster fire of a live chat. Oh, okay. We'll have to check that out. That sounds really cool. In fact,
he looked familiar, and I did remember a young fella that Erica has talked to, or it may have been Dapper Dino, but yeah, that might be interesting.
Is it not? Oh, it's buffering. I see.
You got some buffering going on. Oh my goodness.
Keep buffering. Oh, show live chat. Oh, there's live chat. Okay. I think we'll just go ahead and run that in the background. Playback speed 2.0. And we'll
I didn't get the link for it yet, but Erica has done another chapter of the Contested Bones stream she's been doing series, and I'll get the link for it right now. But it's really good so far. I had to sign off in the middle, and we have echoes.
You do?
Yes, we do,
sir. Oh, what the hell? It seems like every time I play a video, the echo happens.
Oh, I see on Rebecca's side chat now.
How we doing now?
Well, it looks like we have 2 speeds of sound.
What happened?
I don't know, but we do have what appears to be 2 speeds of sound.
Oh, good. Double speed. That's twice as fast.
That's right.
Awesome. That'll help. That's gonna
stay hydrated. Keep your hydration going.
I think one of them will probably disappear after a while. What do you think? I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe.
Okay, which one am I? Oh, yeah, it automatically disappeared. So it took a while for them to take it down. So you got an echo?
Not right now.
So I think when I run the Chrome, somehow StreamYard is doing something in the background, and they end up fucking losing echo cancellation or doing something. But every time I play a video, I'm probably going to have to leave and come back. I don't know. It doesn't do it all the time. It just does it once in a while. But anyway, Contested Bones, Cel Cordova wrote a seven pages for that book, and they ended up publishing 3 of them on ALUs, or those little Arthrobacter or whatever, jumping genes. So he did a little thing back in, I don't know, it's 2015 or something like that.
And he's very Contested Bones?
Yeah, he's very proud of it, but they didn't list him in the credits, and they apologize for that. But he talks about it all the time. And now he's been going on his site for the last 3 days about ALUs. And he calls them ALUs. And I wish he'd stop doing that, because I'm going to start calling them ALUs if he doesn't stop calling them that. But they're ALUs. And they're little tiny jumping genes. And occasionally they jump into the wrong spot and they make you very sick or kill you. And what else? But he has he's been doing a whole bunch of interesting stuff, like where is it here? We talked about the brain, right?
The brain. Yes, we have talked about the brain.
We talked about the brain.
Okay, I'm putting that link in the side chat to the Contested Bones thing today.
Okay.
And then I will put it in the side chat, and you can put it in the description.
Okay.
That way everybody has access to
Library errors.
great analysis.
Yeah, that book is really bullshit. It's really, Rebecca has the patience of a saint to go through that thing and actually pick on it. But anyway, so one of the things that Cordova's talked about is there are over 100 million human ALU RNA. Okay, the second paper says there are over 100 million human ALU RNA editing sites in each cell, located in the majority of human genes. But you'll notice that in each cell is in parentheses or in brackets. The paper doesn't actually say this at all. Okay, the paper says there are over 100 million human ALU RNA editing sites in the human genome.
So is he just like adding ellipses and bracketed words right and left? And
Well, he's doing that thing I talked about on Monday, where people think that the brain has all this information packed into each neuron, right? So as he says here, I did a back of the envelope calculation, and if each brain cell has 100 million such ALU binary bits, and if each brain has 100 billion cells, then that is about 10 to the 19th bits of memory. That is staggering and consistent with the claim that the human brain has more connections than all the routers on the World Wide Web. Okay. Jesus Christ. Okay, the brain... There are anywhere, from, I think the average is around 7,000 connections per neuron, and we have 100 billion neurons. So we probably have more connections in the brain than the World Wide Web. I don't know how big the web is anymore, but those are connections. Those aren't bits of information inside of the fucking neuron. So he's doing it again. He's doing that thing I hate, but he did it by misquoting this paper. That paper does not say that. Yeah, in each cell is so.
His like I've always said, his ability to read is awfully skewed because of his intense desire to prove, the young Earth creationism. It warps his ability to read.
Yeah. And this is his article in Creve, Creation Evolution Headlines. Some junk DNA may act as a computer memory. And he's trying to make the case that ALU is a computer memory. And he is completely wrong about this, but he's too much of a coward to come over here and talk to me about it. So I can explain to him why he's wrong. But we know he's a coward, cowardly creationist. It is the title of today's video. So anyway, what else does this garbage say? Chris Roop, okay, contested bones, okay. Co-authored the book, and he talks about how he did 3 pages in the book. He's very proud of this, and he should be. He got published, so that's cool. I applaud the effort. Whatever.
Let's put those paws down on the floor. Thank you.
I'll put a link to that in the description too, in case anybody wants to read his garbage, but it's just all garbage. So wrong. And yet they're too afraid to engage me. Yeah, to find out why. But I understand why he's afraid of me, because I know where he lives intellectually.
I just am so grateful every day that I'm located in Fort Worth and you're located up in northern Minnesota.
Yeah, I don't know where you live. Yeah.
I would be too afraid to live any closer.
Yeah. I know where he lives intellectually.
Yeah.
I know what kinds of mistakes his tiny little brain makes. And he's too cowardly to come over here and talk to me about it. He has all these excuses. I think he said because I said fuck Jesus once. Did I say that? Do you remember me saying that?
We may have, in the sense of the kind of suffering people have to endure in the name of God or whatever.
I don't know.
For the glory of God, supposedly.
Yeah, so every summer during a lightning storm, I go out and say, God, strike me dead if you're up there, just for the hell of it.
The Lieutenant Dan version of skepticism.
Yeah, he never did it. Never did it. Never gets me. But do have a little problem with my kidney, but other than that, he's take your best shot, God. Take your best shot. I like Shameless, where what's his name is what the hell's his name? Shit, what is his name? What is the main character's name?
William Macy.
William Macy is out there yelling, "You took your best shot, God, and you missed me," basically, when he tried to get him, when he took his liver out or whatever, and then he takes a drink. It's like, oh man, he's my kind of guy.
Oh, Gibbs, yeah. No, you cannot be on my lap. I'm going to have to really make little Gibbs hate me and just go ahead and get those toenails on the rear leg, because they slice into me when he jumps on my lap.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm tempted to declaw my cat some days.
Well, apparently you did it wrong.
Did what wrong?
Andrew Cummings says you were supposed to call out to Thor out in the rain and the lightning.
Oh, Thor is my cat, so I can't do that.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. It doesn't work that way if you have a cat named Thor, Andrew. Sorry.
Yep, can't do it. Because then I'll be plagued with the curse of Thor. Me and my son call it. Thor's pretty needy. When he gets bored with me, he goes up and talks to my son. But let's see. So I was going to talk about ALUs a little bit. So they're jumping genes. They're little short things. They're called signs, or short interspersed nuclear elements. And we have 1.1 million copies of this one particular kind, which is ALU. Okay. In our genome, and it amounts to 11% of our genome. So it's spread in. It started out, I think, about 30 or 100 million years ago, and it modified into what's called an ALU with primates, and primates have tons of them, and humans have the most of all. So for humans, they ended up, for some reason, multiplying all over the place, and they're copies, so they're almost identical. But then when they do copy into your genome, most of them will mutate, so they become different after a few generations, right? Because they're not really all that important, so they mutate. Okay, they're in the area of the DNA that is not conserved, so they'll end up mutating. But they have all sorts of different effects on your genome. And they can have, they can do things like upregulate genes or downregulate genes, so you produce more of a protein or less of a protein. And they can take entire sections of a genome and either promote it or inhibit it, so that some cell types over the course of evolution may end up being changed. So that we have different tissue types possible because of ALUs, right? So, but for the most part, what happens is they will multiply, or they might make one insertion for every 100 generations or whatever in the germline. But then in your body, basically after you develop, not in your germline, in your somatic tissue, they will, there's a possibility of these things inserting themselves, and they can cause diseases. But for the most part, they will, if they end up being deleterious, they will kill the cell that it happened in. That cell will die, and it'll just go away. So they get selected out in your body so that they're not particularly devastating, but they can cause a cancer. They can cause, various other kinds of disease in your body or in the germline, basically evolutionary, right? You can inherit them, that sort of thing. And now Cell wants to make the case that God put them there, all 1.1 million of them, and they're highly functional. So they're going to start talking about how highly functional they are again. Like Standing for Truth always loves to say, this gene is highly functional, and it's not. Of course, he's lying. But
Yeah, well, what the hell does he know? He's a car salesman.
I know. Yep.
So with the ALUs, because like Minnie is wondering what the hell you're talking about, because I guess he's not been dealing with Sal Cordova. So basically, they're saying that with the way the brain neurons or the brain does memory and is complicated and deals with bits and bits and bits of information, then the ALUs also contain bits of information, according to Sal.
Yeah.
And so the fact that there's so much complicated information and bits firing and it creates a complexity, then only God could have been responsible for the brain development and not evolution.
Yeah, Manny Karen is exactly right. Neurons don't store information. Information is stored across many synapses, the strength of the synapses, the connections. That's kind of where the information in your brain is stored.
Gosh. Notice how the place is more scientific when Minnie's in the room.
Yeah.
Or in the side chat.
Well, he knows a bit about neuroscience.
Yeah.
He can see through this bullshit right away.
He's just zeroed in on the focus of the fallacy. That's
yeah. And I talked about this at length, Manny, on Monday's broadcast, and I don't know how well I did, but I did. But anyway, so let's see.
Hey, before we get into anything more serious, what's a Tommy Hall argument?
Oh, shit.
Look at the screen.
Probability.
Okay. Oh, like which is more probable, evolution or I don't even know what the word is for it. Intelligent design.
I don't know what a Tommy Hall argument is.
Jay, you're going to have to provide us with some information, or I might have to take to Googling, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I Googled it, and I have Thomas versus Hall, the state of Wyoming. I don't know. That's all I got. Oh, no, he's thinking of something else. And it's right on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember. But anyway. So anyway, it's garbage. So should I try to draw a picture? I don't know.
Sure, draw a picture, man. Draw a picture of your favorite chemical today.
Before Gur gets here. Oh, my favorite chemical. Where's that at? Let me see if I can show that. Oh, Rebecca's here. Good. Rebecca. You're here. You were listening to all that garbage from Sal about the ALUs.
Oh, well, tell me how this is garbage.
It's garbage because they're not all functional. Some of them, of course, are going to do something in the genome because they're in your genome, but there's 1.1 million of them. And
okay, before we can continue, Rebecca, you're going to need to show us your cat.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, he's right here.
Let's go to Kitty.
Oh, that's a cute little kitty.
Yeah, he's really pretty.
Bet he's fun to pet. I like that fur.
Yeah, he's wonderful.
Yeah, but he's completely misrepresenting those papers and what they mean. Probably because he doesn't understand them, and he doesn't have the courage to come over here and defend them. So he's got so many things wrong.
Well, that's a big claim, Mike. I think you're going to have to back that up.
Back it up. I think you got to back the claim up that all ALUs are function. There's 1.1 million copies of the ALU sign, right, in the genome. And to date, we probably know about 10 or 20 of them that might have function, that we can trace some function for. And I don't even think it's that many that we found. And we've certainly, we found this bit about zDNA where they can zDNA. Okay, in 2018, the paper that he's quoting from 2020, the guy did a paper in 2018 where he explained how zDNA is the eukaryotes method of keeping these ALUs silent, of keeping them from killing us, because normally they jump into the wrong place and they're going to be extremely deleterious. They're going to they're going to cause some sort of a disease. But most of them jump into a place where they have no effect at all. They're very neutral, right? And we know this, and we've known this for years. And this idea that they're all functional because of this one paper just doesn't fly. That isn't what the paper says. What the paper says is that they may well be a method of rapid evolution that, you know, over the last 6 million years or whatever, that they may have contributed. And they very likely did contribute to increased brain capacity and a bunch of other things. So, I mean, a few of them, right, had function, but that doesn't mean that all of them have function. Okay, you can't extrapolate from, we found function for 3 of, you know, the 110 million copies to all 110 million are functional. You cannot do that. You understand that? You have to have.
Hey, do you have a link to that paper in the description?
I don't yet, no.
Nestle is wanting to take a look at it. The one.
Oh, the one on ZDNA? Yeah, I can go ahead and get it. Yeah, I've got to pull up a PowerPoint presentation.
Nestle is very interested. It says, where is Sal's post where he writes on ALUs? And then he wants the paper.
Oh, the last 3 nights, I think he's been reading this paper, and I'm not sure if he ever links it, but I'll go ahead and try to get a link to it for you.
That's not a good sign if you're not linking your papers.
Yep. Oh, let's see, line 1.
Well, did you see what Sal put on his channel today? I watched it. It was really good. It was Dr. Sanford giving a briefing to the NIH about the problem of the deterioration of the human genome. And
is that one he did from like 3 years ago?
It is. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
I'd be interested to hear your response to that. Like if you one day pulled that video up and commented on it.
Yeah, I could. He had a question and answer center where he blew off a couple guys in the audience that were coming down again. I have no idea why I understand why they let him into the NIH to do that, because of his credentials and because people are genuinely interested in the problem of humans devolving because of the way we treat humans, right? Because we let anybody, we try to keep all of us alive, and natural selection no longer works as quickly and as well for humans is what they're worried about. And they're worried about, that we're screwing up our human DNA. But Sanford's case for genetic entropy overall is just garbage. Just garbage.
Top Dog, how are you?
Okay.
Good to see you.
Open hyperlink. Okay, so I'm getting the paper for.
Good to see you, Scott. And I have to say hi to Gurr. He put a really nice comment. Thank you. I'm glad I'm your favorite person, Gurr. Thanks.
Here you go, Nessie.
I really like you too. Chat. What's that?
I'm putting you the paper in the chat, the Hebert paper. Also, check out his 2018 paper on ZDNA and how it may be a mechanism.
So why do we think the human DNA is being deteriorated or going downhill?
Oh, Sanford?
Is it because we're able to use medicines and stuff, and we're keeping ourselves alive longer and stuff with these problems, and so then we can reproduce with those problems, but it's still natural selection happening.
Well, the problem that Sanford was presenting is that, each generation of humans collects mutations, and the rate is like 80 or something mutations for each generation. And so, those just continue on to we're building up more and more mutations. And that's not a positive thing. I know you guys, want evolutionary magic to happen and mutations to be really awesome for us, but in actuality, mutations are mostly bad, right?
No,
So this is a
No, they're
huge
mostly neutral.
problem.
No, they're mostly neutral.
Well, but if they have an effect on a human, it's more likely to be bad than good.
No, there's no reason to believe that. There's no reason. Okay, 99.9% are neutral. And out of that 0.1% that's left, there's no reason to believe that it's any more than 50-50 good or bad. Okay. If they're bad, if they're truly bad, that embryo will never live. In fact, 20 to 50% of all embryos die before you even know you're pregnant. Okay. Mm-hmm. So that's God's little abortion plan. So most things immediately die. So they don't make it. Now the deleterious mutations that do survive will end up with no reproductive success at all. The child will die of cancer at 3 or 6 years old or whatever, or some disease, and there won't be reproduction. But now there are some cases where it will make it through. But now the neutral mutation, Sanford is saying, accumulate. Now that is not a real thing in genetics. There is no accumulation. It's a switch. Either the thing dies, or it thrives, or it does nothing at all. Okay. There isn't this slow, there's a possibility for a population to slowly lose the ability to metabolize. So in that respect, it would be possible, but that's just highly unlikely that those same genes are going to be hit with more than one mutation over and over again. And that mutation is going to spread into a population of 9 billion humans. It's going to take till the end of time for any mutation, any one of those mutations that are slightly deleterious to spread into 9 billion humans, right? Okay, so
is the population still exponentially growing?
Let's hang on and see what Nestling say. Okay, most of those with measurable effect are bad, but those get selected out. There's no reason to think that those without measurable effect aren't 50-50. Right. As far as what's going to happen in the future, that sort of thing. I mean, I can tell a little story about, something that could happen. I think if I carefully
I'd rather look at facts than stories, Mike, and so I'd be really interested in hearing you refute the facts that Dr. Sanford presents in his.
He has no facts. There's no. I'll show you the fact here. Let's see if I can find the picture that I had. Was it Google?
The fact we're still having a lot more people grow or being born than are dying, right? Or I mean. Yeah.
I'll show you a fact here, Rebecca.
People being born more than they're dying, so the population keeps on growing.
Well, I don't have statistics on that. I mean, so our population is growing, but that's kind of a different question. We're talking about the accumulation of mutations and the bad effect that is having on humanity, and that mutations are not producing the positive effects that are supposedly the evolutionary process.
What bad effects?
In the last 100 years, we have more people than ever lived.
What bad effects are you talking about? Is what I'm wondering.
I mean, human species.
Well, I'm not an expert on, what kinds of mutations cause what genetic problems.
Okay, look at these.
In general, I mean, if you find out if someone has a disease, a genetic disease, I mean, we're accumulating genetic diseases.
Shows increase in fitness. We covered this on the video genetic entropy on Jackson's channel. Should give us a link to that. But anyway, this is okay. Where's genetic entropy here? Where are the facts? Okay, these are children running across the park, right? These guys look mutated to you?
That's kind of a weird question, Mike. I
Not
mean,
really.
are you saying
Not
that
really.
every mutation manifests in a physical deformity that I should be able to look at and tell from the picture?
Do these kids look unhealthy? Do they look healthier than their parents or not? Are their parents less mutated than they are? And don't tell me that standing for truth, logical, probable, and plausible, and Cell has not said that every generation is more mutant than the next. In fact, I have a clip.
Hey, Speed, we need to pause this conversation real quick, and we have a special guest coming in the room. I just want to say hello to Minnie Karen. It's been so long, sir.
It has been a long time.
Uh-oh, and he just jumped out. Oh, there he is. There he is. Minnie, how are you doing?
Having issues.
Anyway. I mean, there's no evidence that we're mutating. In fact, cancer rates have fallen since 1987, when we put catalytic converters on cars and we quit smoking so damn much. We've had cancer rates have been plummeting. The only cancer rates that have stayed the same, I think, are prostate cancer, and there was one other weird one, but lung cancer and a whole bunch of other things have plummeted.
And we have acts that clean up the cities and stuff, and less pollution.
So I mean, I'm trying to figure out when you say there's a fact about, genetic entropy, what is that fact?
Well, I mean, I can't recite the data. I watched the video, and I mean, that's why I said you can look at the data that he presents.
Yeah, I'd have to watch the video again to comment on any specifics that he comes up with. But I mean, we're discovering more and more genetic mutations every year. That is a fact. Okay, we're discovering genetic mutations. Okay, but that's discovering them. That doesn't mean that they haven't been there for thousands of years in some population. And it is possible that because of the way humans take care of each other, because of our social structure. But let's not talk about humans. Let's talk about beetles. Where's the genetic entropy in beetles? Show me the facts. Show me that, mosquitoes are getting less prevalent in Minnesota, and I'll say, hallelujah, praise the Lord.
But they're living in the wild still.
Yeah.
They have
Sanford is right. SARS-CoV-2 would have been mutated into oblivion, but it hasn't. It's just, there are no facts, and Sanford has no case, and nobody has taken this guy seriously, except for creationists, and he has made no impact at all, even after that NIH thing. Who has picked him up? Who has been citing him? Who has been going on about genetic entropy? So anyway, there's that. Okay, and telling stories, and when I tell stories that are based on empirical facts. Okay. There's an empirical fact behind every element of the story. So when you put together a story, like if I tell you a story about me going to Walmart to buy some gravy mix for my potato or my turkey dinner, okay, it is a fact that we have a Walmart in this town. It is a fact that they sell gravy. It is a fact that I can drive. It is a fact that I can get there. It's a fact that I can buy them. These are facts. Okay, that's what evolutionary stories are based on, is facts, empirical, testable facts that we know. So when we tell you that something evolved, we don't just make that up. We don't, just guess that it evolved. We tell you with things that we know can happen, that we have tested empirically, that these things can create these changes, and these changes could lead to a positive or beneficial mutation in the species. Okay? It's that simple. And that's the part that I don't think you're getting. That we can't go back and tell you exactly what happened in the last 100 million years, because that's history, right?
Other than we can see the DNA.
But everything that we tell you that happened could happen, because we have empirically tested that it could. We know that part. Let's see, also lies about Chimera. Yeah, Sanford, okay, he lost all credibility when he sketched in his own little tiny curve for beneficial mutations on Chimera's graph. If you look at the original Chimera paper, that little piece is not there. The fact that he sketched that in and put it in his book, that is just pure sophistry. You don't take anybody seriously that does stuff like that. I'm sorry, Rebecca. Not an easy audience today. I'm still
it's fine.
still riled up about Bible study last night.
And isn't
really?
Isn't the idea of an accumulation of bad mutations kind of disproven by what Dr. Dan Cardinale has done on his channel, showing where bad traits get or mutations get selected out of the population, so that if it's a neutral, it does carry on. If it's a bad one, it gets selected out of the population. And I think that's been demonstrated not just theoretically, but in the kind of experiments that Dr. Dan got his dissertation on.
Okay, Jay, it's on the way.
Doesn't it only really matter if the species able to reproduce or live long enough to reproduce, and then those can live long enough to reproduce themselves, and so on? That's all that really matters, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's fitness. That's, the definition of fitness. If something reproduces, then that's how we measure fitness. It fits the environment well enough to put its genes into the next generation, one copy or more. And how many copies is going to have an effect on the total population over time, depending on the size of the population.
Introducing Jay Patrick, whatever. Jay's in the room.
Did you like how nicely I put that speed on my email? Yeah. I demand a link.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's. And you got it.
Thought you might like that.
Yeah, I might have doxed you to your brother because you guys yelled at me for sending you links and email and giving your email address out to other people. So I'm assuming that you and your brother have each other's email, right? Is that okay?
No, we don't.
Oh, God. Well, now you're doxed. Now he knows your email. He's going to start talking to you. So I'm sorry.
My brother?
Your brother, yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, I do have one of his emails.
Oh, okay. Well,
I thought you were talking about when you send him an email, if I automatically get his email. I don't get his email.
No. I sent it to both of you. So that.
Oh,
remember, one of you guys complained because I sent you links to a stream.
We were joking.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Yeah, we were joking.
I took that fucking seriously. I mean, I really got.
Oh, I'm sorry. Our sarcasm is a little dry sometimes. We need to work on that.
I was bummed out all weekend.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Funeral salad. It breaks that mood real quick.
Okay. Yeah. Funeral salad. You know about funeral salad, Rebecca?
No.
So when we were kids, every time we went to a funeral, and my dad had a family of 13 kids, so we went to a lot of them. They would serve these little sandwiches, and we loved them, and they were made of wieners and ground up wieners, pickles, and mayonnaise. And we'd only get them at funerals, so we couldn't wait for one of our uncles or aunts to die so we could go get funeral salad. But then we figured out that we could make this stuff ourselves. So I started calling it pickawini mush. And Jay tried it and apparently didn't like it. You didn't like pickawini much? I don't know.
No, I don't remember what it. I can imagine what it tastes like, but I think I had it when I was younger. But it's been a long time since. See, they used to make it. Is it made with Vienna sausages? The canned Vienna sausages?
Usually use bologna, and mayonnaise and pickles. And
I think the way that this one person used to make it at our church potluck was they used the Vienna sausages. Oh,
yeah, that would be good, too, probably. Number of different ways you can make it. Anyway, it's called funeral salad, funeral sandwiches.
When you talk about Viennese weenies and things like that, and I know we were low income for quite a while, I think, and we would often have Viennese weenies as part of our lunch, or Mom would fry up Spam or treat or something like that. Yeah. I used to, and I knew that stuff was junk, at the time, even when I was eating it, and to the point where even years after we quit having to have that stuff, and I graduated and moved out of the house and everything, sometimes I would just get a craving for a can of family weenies or for some fried Spam.
They have.
You're watching. I'm sorry. You're watching Reacher, right?
Yeah.
I haven't watched Reacher yet.
Have you gotten to the episode where he uses the ketchup to clean off the VIN number?
Yes, I did.
And the guy goes, and you put that in your body, and he looks at him and goes, "It tastes good."
But anyway, it's just I get these weird desires for food that I never really liked for some reason. Just years after having been fed it. It's weird.
They have a Spam festival somewhere where they actually, people love this stuff. I'm pretty sure it's made out of pig heads and pig tongues and toenails and, all pigtails, all the stuff that you would never eat. Right?
Actually, I watched the special on how Spam is actually produced. It's actually, unless they really cleaned up the facility, it's actually produced pretty cleanly.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So if it's junk, it's done pretty clean.
When I was a kid, we had a butcher shop, and a guy came over and used it all the time, and I'd work for him, and he told us that he would wheel he worked in a slaughterhouse, and they had these smelly dumpsters full of scrapings and cuttings from the meat, and they used to wheel them off and package them up and make Slim Jims out of them. And I haven't been able to eat a Slim Jim since. So,
hey, Speed.
Yeah.
Make sure you have that music ready.
Oh, which one? Oh,
the one for in case Girl Mania makes it in.
Oh, in case he comes in. Oh no. Oh God, I don't even know what was that music. I lost the music. I lost it.
Oh, Speed.
I know. I lost
What's the name of that channel? Grump per Jumps or something?
Game Grumps, yeah. So I'm pretty sure that
all I know is when I started cooking for myself at the age of about 14, I stopped getting the pukes because we found out that my mom was like every once in a while was giving us a nice case of salmonella or E. coli.
Oh yeah.
Well,
buying the dented cans on special.
Yeah, the older my mom
thawing meat out on the counter, frozen meat out, that kind of stuff.
The older my mom got, the more sloppy she got about her food. Like she took this turkey and put it out in the garage, and it was 50 above, and soup. And then my sons were about 8 years old, and we came over, and she wanted to give us soup, and she went in the garage and got it. And I'm like, okay, it's 60 above out, Mom. And you stored the soup in the garage. So I sat there and I tried to eat it as fast as I could before my kids did to see if I'd throw up. Because we didn't want to insult her. I think I managed to distract my kids so they wouldn't eat the damn soup. But it's like, oh my God, she got sloppy.
Speaking of soup, my mom actually did a throwback. She she made up a soup, like a creamy potato soup made of leftovers. And my dad ate it. He got the pukes, the shits for 3 days. Of course, everybody in my family like, yep, Mom did it again.
So, Rebecca, how are you doing? How are you doing, Rebecca, with this conversation?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm just listening.
Oh, okay, you're okay. Okay, I
think you guys took Meanie's advice. He said, don't confuse Rebecca with any more facts. So you guys moved on to an easier topic for me.
Yeah, we moved on to an easier topic.
Yeah, pukes and shits.
That's the usual going off on a rabbit trail.
Yeah.
Yeah. When in doubt, talk about food poisoning and the results therein.
Yeah, food poisoning.
She actually almost had to take him to the hospital, to the emergency room, because he was dehydrating so much.
Yep. Yeah, the stuff they fed us when we were kids, it's amazing that we survived.
Oh, when I watched my father-in-law make a hamburger, make the hamburger on the bare counter, and then wipe his hands on his pants.
Yeah, but I think it built up a really strong immune system in us,
I didn't help him in the long run. Trust me. I think he really used and abused that immune system of his. I get to look at him and like, what did you just do? And he goes, what? I'm like, you just wipe raw hamburger off on your pants. And he goes, yeah. I'm like, oh.
You mean all those hours in health class were for your family, Jay?
We didn't have a health.
Make sure you wash your hands thoroughly.
We didn't have a health class.
You didn't have that health class. I wish your mom had gone to that health class about preparing food properly.
Well, it's called the Midwestern. It was called the Midwestern School of, if you set frozen meat out, once it's soft enough, it's fine. You can cook it up, as long as you burn it like it's, cook it like it was damned.
Well, cooking meat
Speed Midnight is having a fit in the side chat.
I thought I sent them a link. I don't know. We can put a link out in the public.
All right, we're going to open this up, guys. Here I go. Copy and paste.
I was going to tell an evolutionary story, but I think I'll save it. I don't know.
Yeah, I asked a question speaking of the getting back to the little bit on the genetic entropy with the genetic, because I'm not real familiar with genetic entropy. I know you guys talk about it quite a bit on here. But if genetic entropy is a thing, and if let's say it's based on on the fact that as you get older, you get thousands and thousands and thousands of mutations. Why then, if that's the case for men, and they're accumulating more and more mutations, if men can have children, obviously later in life, wouldn't these mutations become evident in their semen?
Yeah, and I think it is a problem as men get older, but I think the amount of mutations that are actually in the germline in the male, in males, there are a lot of safeguards basically so that you don't get a lot of them. Mm-hmm. And when you do get a mutation, what you're doing is you're sticking a pin in a mountain, and inside of that mountain there's a little chunk of important stuff. And whether or not you're going to hit that important stuff, there's very little chance that you're going to create a mutation that matters. So even with 100 mutations for 3 billion nucleotides, it isn't going to really matter all that much. And Sanford's idea is that these things accumulate. Well, the thing is, if one child has 100 mutations, the chances of that 100 mutations ending up in the greater population are just infinitesimally small, because each of those mutations has its own little funnel where they eventually drift out of the population. There are a few things that will fix.
So does genetic entropy rest on the fact that it holds that most mutations, if not all mutations, are necessarily deleterious?
Yeah, he thinks that they're slightly deleterious is what he calls it, which is bullshit. And that's where he completely fails, because a lot of them make absolutely no difference at all. And they don't build up along with that.
But isn't skin color a mutation based on? It
would be, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But
especially albinism especially albinism. That's a hell of a mutation.
Yeah. But yeah. But I mean, I think that's not one of the ones. I mean, it might be beneficial for nighttime, because you can tan in the moonlight. But
yeah. Okay. Fuck you, Jay.
I was inferring to that raging atheist.
Yeah, I know you were. Okay. Speaking, you know what? I don't think Speed wants to talk about the raging atheist in his. You know what?
I thought I'd have some fun with it.
No, I know.
So Smokey is going after Nicholas, and he's also going after the Rage, and the Rage is going out. It's just so confusing.
Yeah, it's well, okay. You didn't want to talk about it, but fuck it. Yes, it's crazy, right? It's the war started again.
Yeah, it just keeps pipe. Like, what is wrong with these people? Oh, we lost Rebecca. We should have. I mean,
she did say she's leaving together. She's leaving. Her kids are more important than this. This little live stream.
Oh, really? Your kids are more important than the weather report.
I mean, I don't have any kids yet, so.
Yeah, she can only deal with so many children at one time.
Jesus.
Sometimes you have to leave this group of children to go deal with your own children.
So are you calling yourself a child, Jay?
No, I'm just having fun.
I know you are.
Just picking on the panel in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're on the panel too, so you're picking on yourself.
No, anyway, Christopher points out that
that's probably being self-deprecating.
Anything that happens to your genome is going to have some effect, right? Well, what is that effect? Right. What does that affect?
Jesus.
Yeah, that's. I thought the mosquito point was pretty interesting because I was like, yeah, how many generations of mosquito, how many generations upon generations of mosquitoes do you get just like in a human in a human lifespan? How many? Yeah. You talk about an animal that lives maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks is its maximum lifespan. A lot of or even like the mayflies, right? That's a lot more generations right there.
Okay,
so
you know what? This is definitely something interesting to read. And I'm going to add it to my personal Discord server.
Oh, Midnight.
That's all I add. Yes.
I got to apologize. I keep forgetting to send you that PDF. I have it, so I'll send it to you tonight.
Thank you.
That one on burden of proof.
Thank you. By the way, did you check out the YouTube video I gave you, at least just for shits and giggles?
When did you send it? Because I haven't been on Discord in a little bit.
Let me check. It was probably a week or two ago. I don't know. It's been a while since we.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if I checked it out or not.
I sent it 2/4/2022. So about 5 days ago.
Oh, okay. What was it on? Remind me.
It just his YouTube channel, Inner Warrior. Just to give you something entertaining to watch.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't. I that was one of the ones that I didn't watch. I'd gotten a couple other recommendations, so I got caught up with those. So I didn't get back to that one.
That's fun. But you did check out the channel, just not the video I sent you, right?
No, I didn't even get a chance to check out the channel. Yeah.
I just want to say hi to David real quick. We're glad you could join us.
What do we got here?
David's here.
Maybe David's not here.
Yeah, I should ask him what's going on Praise's channel. I think he keeps track more of what's going on over at Praise's channel than I do nowadays.
Sorry, I was talking to somebody. I'll be right with you. Were you guys talking to me? Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I actually, Jay, I don't. I mean, I check in on Praise a little bit, but I used to, keep track quite a bit. But
I was going to just call it the cannibal. Yeah. I've just nicknamed them the Christian Cannibalism Crew. That's all I've called them. The triple C's, Christian Cannibalism. They're just eating each other over there. It's like, if it's OSAS, you OSAS fuck. And then the OSAS people, oh, you conditional security bastards or whatever.
I mean, speaking of cannibalism, I didn't watch the entire thing. I only started watching it. But apparently Smokey went after Rebecca and some other guy, I forget.
Someone went after Rebecca?
Yeah, Bread of Life, calling her a fraud and Satan worshiper.
Because she has a slightly different theology.
I'm telling you, Christians always cannibalize each other. I have literally never seen an atheist calling another atheist a fake atheist. Now, there have been doubts. There have been doubts to when some atheists, when some Christians say they used to be atheists and their view of atheism is so bizarre. But I've never seen another atheist say, "Hey, Jay, you're a fake atheist."
So who was picking on Bread of Life?
Your old pal Smokey.
Oh my God! Well, he picks on everybody. I tuned into his thing on Nicholas, and I was trying to listen, because I wanted to hear some Nicholas stuff, and that's all. He went on for like 10 minutes with his adjectives about satanic, idiot, dumpster fire, just on and on and on. That's all it was Smokey delivering adjectives. and you never actually played the video. And it's like, okay, this is a little boring, Smokey. I've heard all of these really clever digs before.
We really should rename the fallacy "No True Christian." Way more common than Scotsman. I mean, sure.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the game they're playing over there. Because if you don't hold to this doctrine, then it necessarily follows that you're preaching a false doctrine, and therefore you're damning people. The problem with that is I've heard, I don't know if Smokey's changed his position on this or not, but Smokey kind of holds to this weird idea that you're automatically damned before you're everybody is fit for the fire until they hear the good news, right? Until they hear the gospel and they repent and then come to Jesus, right? But then at the same time, when it comes to Christians who hold to different Christian doctrine than him, and they're spreading that around instead of spreading what Smokey seems to be, what he deems to be correct Christian doctrine, then they're damning them. They're damning them. So I'm like, how are they damning them if they're just? It's bizarre. It's like fundamentally everybody's damned, in your opinion. So
yeah.
Hey, many Karens here. Did you guys? Anybody say hi to Minnie? Or did he just get here?
Yes, yeah, we did say hi.
He came in for a minute, but he never said anything. He left.
Yeah, he's having issues with audio, so he said next break.
Let's see, what the fuck was I trying to say?
Haven't heard from him in a while.
What are you trying to say, Midnight?
I was trying to respond to something Jay said, but whatever.
Sorry, Midnight. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Okay. Yeah, for some Christians, and I think Smokey is this, that you are fit for the pit of fire, even if you believe in Jesus Christ and do everything you say, because humans are wretched, vile, disgusting creatures that need to be punished for all eternity. Like, when you really think about it, that's some masochism.
That sounds like Jonathan Edwards from the first or second Great Revival or whatever, a Great Awakening in the U.S.
Christians are fucking masochists.
They are sinners in the hands of an angry God. That was his like hit sermon that Jonathan Edwards would take all around the colonies and basically read it to them. Although I'm sure he had his sermon expressions and hand waves and everything like that. And it caused a lot of people to give their lives to Jesus. And the evangelicals have been wanting the same experience ever since. Someone to tell them how horrible they are, make them feel really rotten, and then they give their lives to Jesus.
Well, yeah. I was talking to Jim about this, and he was kind of getting irritated by some evangelicals thinking that, every time it seems like they're looking for like that first time you met your wife or that first time you met your husband kind of feeling, the first time you met that, that big dopamine hit, that kind of thing. And he's like, yeah, you can get that, you can get that when you convert to Christianity or whatever. And then great, then just maintain it. Because these guys always seem to try to like find a way to like make themselves miserable and try to get that righteous dopamine hit all over again. Because for crying out loud, once you're in it, you just maintain it. Just leave it alone, for crying out loud.
Yeah, but no. I wonder. I honestly, you know what? I really wonder if there's a study out there or like statistics that shows how many Christians are actually or actual masochists. Or how many masochists are actually Christians? I would love to get those statistics.
No, they're just dopamine fiends. That's all. It's just a dopamine fix.
Yeah. Well, what the hell do you think a masochist is?
Well, I mean, it's kind of like when you start. The way I kind of got the impression of it was like when you start taking for granted certain things, and you go to church every week, and then eventually you kind of get used to it, and you go to Sunday school, and you go to Wednesday evening services, and just kind of boop kind of doing this thing. And then eventually you get that one sermon where you start to kind of feel that the preacher's just kind of telling you something, and it kind of strikes a nerve with you, and you kind of start feeling guilty because, yeah, you're going to church, but are you really giving God all your attention and all this kind of stuff? Are you really maintaining that relationship? And it's kind of the same mentality as like when I always kind of thought of it as like when somebody takes for granted their dog. Right. And, you kind of just get used to your dog and you don't appreciate it. And then eventually somebody, oh, yeah, okay, no, I really appreciate my dog. But it's been like a month since you really, really gave a shit. You still took care of your dog, but wasn't like, wasn't anything brand new or anything. So, yeah, I just kind of got that from growing up in churches. You kind of see that yo-yo psychology kind of thing where I want to get this hit.
I kind of regret never actually believing and never having a deconversion story. I don't know, because for me, I never really believed.
Right? I never had a deconversion story either, because I never deconverted. I never converted to Christianity. I was indoctrinated into it from the time I can remember.
Well, I mean, but that's what I mean, right? A lot of people were indoctrinated into it. They believe it all their lives, and then something happened to, I don't know, deconvert them, or like, you know what I mean? Like, I never really had that.
I converted to atheism. I converted to basically being that. What in the hell was that?
Carol, the 406 atheist.
Okay, that's a weird name.
Is she related to the 604 atheist? What do you think? I think so.
She thinks she is, but got it asked backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, I think I've seen her around.
Yeah. Been around before. We're assuming she. So.
I'll go ahead. You know how everybody's been reading, I say everybody, how Dapper Dinosaur, and I think Emma Thorne and others have been reading Kent Hovind's dissertation. I wonder if
dissertation.
Well, yeah, so-called dissertation. I wonder if it would be a good experience to read that Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God.
Did I ask that last time?
Say what?
Did I ask that last time if she was related to 604 atheist? I probably did.
Know.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? The old mind.
No, we really should read it. Definitely.
I wonder what kind of experience, and maybe somebody will feel convicted and
it's so
Christianity.
It is just so juvenile. It's like a seventh grader wrote it. I can't believe he wrote that.
I can. He's a seventh grader.
It's worse than that.
What?
It's worse than that. When Jill attempted to read his part of his supposed master's thesis.
Yeah.
Ooh. That wasn't a 4-year-old. That wasn't a fourth grader. It was. It
was pretty bad.
It was somebody with a mental disorder, is what it was.
Yeah.
I feel like that's an insult on people with mental disorders, because I feel like they would be able to read it better than Jill.
So, guys, I was really late today, and I saw Rebecca was in earlier.
More ageism.
Was there any devil talk? Did I miss any good devil talk or anything? No.
I was pretty hard on Rebecca about cell and genetic entropy and some of the garbage that they're putting out. I'm just so fed up with this creationist garbage, with them reading papers wrong and extrapolating and coming up with. And Cordova says, how did he put it recently? He says, victory for creationism is on the horizon.
Yeah.
But is it really creation? I mean, I know it is kind of, they're touting it as creationism, but is it really creationism? Because it's not about it's not about creating like the origins of everything. It's about it's like an argument that things don't just do what they do. It's like God's got his hand in this stuff as it's going on, right? And it's just that's not a refutation to it doesn't matter. It's not a refutation to evolution. It would just be evolution by the hand of God.
Right.
So it's weird to me.
And here's what's maddening about it is the stuff that they're talking about, the papers they're talking about are things that show you how evolution happens. And then they'll say, see, this is how it happens. This is how God did it. And and I think you were alluding to that this is how God did it. He did it by evolution. It's like, what are you even saying? I mean, it's like, Just maddening.
Yeah, the reason why I asked that, there was, a fair amount of devil talk, the over on Rebecca's channel. She did a long video. What was it, yesterday? I think it was yesterday. She was on for like, I don't know, 5 hours.
Over 5 hours.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, long stream. And there was a little bit of devil talk. A lot of it in chat. People were making comments because the conversation came up,
Yeah.
And
We got her 100% belief that in Jesus as to be 99 now.
Yeah, she doesn't have the typical, she doesn't believe in the typical hell that most Christians believe in, but
yeah,
she has a totally different view. But
annihilation.
Read the chats. I mean, they're making all kinds of comments, and I mean,
So
obviously,
Jay,
you would know. They all think we're possessed or we're being,
being manipulated.
We're
the
demons.
demon.
Influenced by the demons, and
that's exactly. I became an atheist by spending too much time looking at Monster energy cans at the grocery store.
Yeah.
No.
There are some advantages though, like being able to turn your head 360 degrees. You've got to admit that.
Yeah, but the projectile pea soup doesn't sound really good coming out of my mouth.
Well, you can save it for later in jars.
Yeah, there you go. The manipulation thing is, I'll save that for another time.
Yep. I became an atheist because I watched shock theater when I was a little kid. Frankenstein and the Werewolf and Lon Chaney and Boris Karloff, all those things. That made me an atheist, I think.
I became an atheist because I never believed. I don't know.
Yep.
I started realizing that Jesus was only in a fictional character. So,
I mean, that's people with the name Jesus exist. So there could be. It is possible that somebody. Hold on. It is possible that somebody. Okay, whatever.
So I don't know. I don't think holding to the whether or not Jesus existed or not is really like the mythicist route. It's not a really good position to argue from, because you can concede that there was a man named Jesus and that he was a religious zealot and he had followers, and certain individuals were not real happy with the message that he was spreading, and that he was crucified and then he was buried. But that's still not a demonstration. That's still not showing a God, because all those stories, those kind of narratives require that everybody just kind of accept a God as a foregone conclusion. So
I think there's two Roman historians that mention Jesus being crucified, but they do it in relation to talking about Christians, and Christians were they were like a cult back then that was recognized by the Romans, right? And these two historians, I forget what their names were, mentioned the Christians being crucified and burned, and then they mentioned that their leader, or the person that started the cult, was crucified. And of course, by that time, the Christians were talking about his crucifixion. So the Roman historian that mentioned that Jesus was crucified was not going off any record that he was, crucified by Pontius Pilate. He was going off what he heard from other Christians at the time, right? From the cult.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's absolutely no extra biblical evidence at all for Jesus.
Well, there is the letter. There is the letter from Pontius Pilate, but
okay,
that one's got some. There's debates behind that one as well.
Yeah, and that one, I'm not. I heard about that a long time ago, but I haven't really checked it out.
Yeah, because he talks about he's writing I think to a superior or something like that, and he's talking about dealing with the Jews and this particular zealot and stuff like that.
Yeah, but the thing that got to me is at that time, like there was this one Roman emperor who was being protested against by some Jewish sect, and he had a whole crowd of them hauled up to the hill and crucified in Jerusalem right at 40 AD, right around the time that Jesus was killed. So I mean, how many? And apparently there were a number of uprisings of Jewish sects. And that's all Christianity was a Jewish sect basically uprising and pushing against the
I forget, when was the term Christian actually? Well, I don't know. Look at that. The problem is when it's been used in writing, when it was first referenced in writing.
In those Roman, those Roman historians, they use the word Christian or Christios or something like that. So they use some Latin form of it. They called them that. So they named them after their follower, and then they mentioned that the follower had been crucified by Pontius Pilate, and that at that point could have just been all hearsay. So there's nothing outside of the Bible that talks about this that I put any weight in, and that's the problem I have with it. Particularly if the dude rose from the dead. Like if somebody rose from the dead right now, the first thing you would do is put him on Fox News and CNN, right? I mean, he'd be all over the place. He'd be on every talk show, you know? I mean, we'd know about it.
Not if that's not an event that actually happened. Why presuppose that is an actual event that happened?
Wait.
If it happened today,
wait.
can you
but
imagine
it didn't happen today. It supposedly happened 2,000 years ago. And we don't even know if it actually happened.
Well, Leo,
the whole thing is this idea that Jesus would have been as popular when he was crucified as he is now is just absurd. No historian thinks that. This idea that everybody would have known who he was and would have been writing about him. What's the argument for that?
Okay, can I say something really quick? You said it wouldn't have happened, right, Leo?
The resurrection, yeah.
Well, no, but okay. But here's the thing. You know, there are people out there. You know, who have come up with wild, insane stories of them being abducted by aliens who have gone on talk shows, and those things never happen. So.
Well,
okay.
Well, according to
what does that have to do with Jesus not resurrecting from the dead because it's physically impossible?
And Jesus only walked for 3 days, right? He was only walking around for 3 days.
Yeah, I think you missed the point, but whatever. Never mind. Go on.
I guess so. I guess I don't know what you said has to do with the point that I was making.
Rising from the dead wasn't a strange event. Jesus did it with Lazarus, and when Jesus was crucified, according to Matthew, people freaking rose from the dead and greeted their loved ones. It was a perfect.
Well, that was the thing that was said, but it's not like resurrections were supposedly happening all over the place by everybody at this time. That's why the resurrection of Lazarus was considered a miracle. It was a very novel thing to the people.
Okay.
And the other thing is, if Jesus never actually existed, why, if he was just made up, why would Christians make up a supposed Messiah that doesn't actually fit the description of the warrior Messiah that the Hebrew Bible actually lays out? It doesn't actually, and I know a lot of Christians claim that it does, that it prophesies Jesus' death and resurrection. No, it really actually doesn't. The type of Messiah that the Hebrew Bible lays out is nothing like Jesus. Why would they make up a Messiah that doesn't even fit the picture of the Messiah believed by the people at that time? Now, the idea that there was a person who actually existed and actually ended up getting crucified, and he was simply martyred by his followers after his death, and they tried to argue he was the Messiah, makes much more sense. But these people, Paul and others, just making up a guy, calling him the Messiah when he doesn't even fit what the Hebrews considered to be the Messiah, it doesn't make sense. This is why the vast majority of historians accept the historical Jesus.
Well, Paul, or Saul, or what he was formerly known as Saul Tarsus, was killing those people, supposedly.
Well, sure, but that doesn't really bear on the point that I'm making.
I know.
Guys, I know. Mutable has made a rare appearance.
I know. What's going on?
Hey, what have you been doing?
Your mic from 15 feet down a hallway.
Yeah, your mic is a little echoey.
It's on his phone.
No, I'm using my computer. I don't know what's up with it.
Oh.
Anyway, hi.
Sounds like me when I'm on my Dell, I think.
We're just, I don't know. We scared Rebecca off, and now what are we trying to do?
You scared. Don't put us. No, don't. Not that.
I was mean to her. I was mean to her, wasn't I? I'm sorry.
You were
firm.
Firm. Yeah, firm.
Yeah.
You were firm because you can't talk directly to Sal or Sanford.
Yeah, it's irritating me. Yeah, I'm definitely irritated because
you sounded.
She laughed was because she had to take care of her kids.
Yeah.
Well, of course they're not going to let you talk to them. They're creationists. Creationists don't like talking to people that know more than them.
Yeah.
Oh, shots fired. No.
Shots fired. I fired some
Well,
shots.
I mean, it's true.
I know.
Call him a coward.
Stanford has refused debates. Behe has refused debates. Snelling has refused debates. Lyle has refused debates. Jeanson has refused debates. They've all been challenged and they all turn it down when professionals come knocking at their door like, hey, let's talk about this.
Well, they don't like being shown that their views are just demonstrably stupid and horrible.
Well, of course.
Yep. And that they misread the paper.
Well, that would mean they'd have to read it in the first place, which they don't.
Yeah. You got to.
They just selectively quote it.
You got to sell it somehow. You got to branch out. You got to do some branding out there. Christianity, when in doubt, throw Christianity at science. That way maybe you can get some more scientists on board. And everybody can get on board with Jesus and get on the Jesus train. And everybody's going to Salvationville.
He actually read the paper on his stream, but I have a strong feeling that he didn't understand a whole lot of it. It's a very difficult paper to understand, but he actually read it. And and then there were a few parts where he indicated that he didn't really know what the hell they were talking about. But I don't think he missed the point entirely.
What paper was he reading?
The Hebert one that I linked in the description. It's on ALUs and zDNA and flipons.
What's the long and short of it? I know some about ALU sequences, but not too much.
So basically, ALUs have specific sequences that will cause DNA to flip into the Z configuration from the B. So it's called a no B. And there's a couple other configurations, a triplex and a quadruplex of DNA. And it can change the way it wraps around the histones. And it can drastically alter how a section of DNA is either repressed or expressed. And so the point of the paper was that this needs to be researched, and he gave some ideas about what we have to watch for, because they're very hard. It's very hard to study these things because there are so many of them and they're so similar. So he gives some ideas about that, and he talks about how it was a mechanism that really is like much more powerful than just mutation for evolution. And every time Cell got to the part where he said something about evolution, Cell would just poo-poo it. Or in his first video, he actually said, put that out of your mind. Don't even think that. Don't see the word evolution in the paper. Skip that part.
Has he even tried to present like an alternative to evolution, like an alternative in terms of like mechanistic processes?
Creation, just flat out, God created it, and it's mutating.
Now remember that
Christmas comment.
Who's that guy who wrote Replacing Darwin? I can't remember the guy's name. We say it all the time.
Fodor.
How you doing, sir?
But he claims to be replacing, Darwin's means of natural selection or whatever, and proving that the human genetic line goes back 6,000 years. But
Jensen?
I guess it was Jensen, Nathaniel Jensen.
Yeah.
He's the only one that has anything like a model that I know of, and it's not much of one.
Yeah, it's not much of a model. He picks on I think mitochondrial DNA, and he does a bunch of really bad work with Excel spreadsheets and just a bunch of garbage based on you could take a grandma and a great grandma and mom and a daughter, and you can get a pedigree DNA, right? And you can look at the mutations between them. But if you try to extend that to thousands of years over time, which is what Jensen does, and try to calculate mutation rates, you're going to be wrong because of genetic drift, because all those mutations do not end up in the whole population. And there's, and then there's natural selection and all the things that Jensen doesn't consider. So he comes up with this mutation rate, and he does the math just perfectly. He picks numbers from papers and some of his earlier papers so that they'll come out perfectly and match 6,000 years with his calculations. And he did it in an Excel spreadsheet. The guy is a bozo. I mean, he's getting paid to do garbage work and put misinformation out there. That's what that is his job. Very interesting. I don't know.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I could personally. I'm not sure I could personally do that. Right? Like work. Like have a job where I knowingly spread misinformation. Without going, yeah, fuck this and quit.
Yeah, I won't tell you. I won't tell you who it is, but I recently talked to a scientist who's been working 24/7 on a project, trying to get a grant, basically trying to do something. And he said sometimes it is really tempting because you make just enough money to get by as a scientist. You work your ass off 24/7. You have no job security. You're constantly trying to get grants, trying to do stuff. And yet you could go to the Creationist Institute, hardly do any work at all, and just say you believe in Jesus. And you can get anywhere from 100, 120 to 250,000 a year. And if you get popular, you'll get $10,000 every time you stand up and speak in front of an audience.
Jesus Christ, that is tempting.
But then I thought about it. Could I do that? I don't think I could do that. I'm such a poor liar. I couldn't do it. But boy, it is tempting.
Well, there goes that whole demon thing. Because if that demon was there, you could definitely be able to lie your ass off.
Oh yeah,
make money.
I would be able to lie my ass off.
Then you can get those bored.
Yeah. I mean, I do it for about 3 minutes, and then I would have some comment would come into my mind, and I would just have to say it out loud, and I'd get fired at the end.
Yeah, you'd be like sitting there like, this is bullshit. And they're like, what did you say? Oh, I'm sorry. I said this is bullshit. That's just not, I'm just not having a good day.
Yeah, not having a good day. Please
I
don't.
I didn't have my hot cup of bullshit this morning before coming here.
Yeah, I could just see Speed reading something, and then he'd go, "What? What is this?" Like whatever. Yeah,
yeah.
And then, oh shit, I didn't mean to say that out loud.
What kind of pickle-weenie mush is this?
I can hear. What the fuck? Like,
yeah. My mom used to pick on me because when something would come into my brain, it would fall out of my mouth right away, and she was, always trying to tell me not to do that. Like,
what they call that, foot and mouth disease?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Anyway, it's a skill. Lying is a skill. Lying for Jesus is a skill. A skill set I do not have.
I mean, this is why I can never be a lawyer, right? Like, I'd be a lousy lawyer.
Yeah.
The real trick to lying is to make sure that when you're giving somebody bullshit, you have to formulate it so at least about 60% of it's true to you.
Thanks for that tip.
I guess, drug users and alcoholics, they learn to lie. But like what I would do is I would convince myself that it was true before I left the house, before I, went in front of somebody, and then I could, manage to tell the lie because I believed it was true. Like calling in sick on Friday and Monday. Did you know that corporations keep statistics, and people that call in sick on Monday and Friday are looked at as possibly having alcoholism or drug addiction? Because statistically, drunks will not show up on Monday and Friday most often. And they actually check that. So if you're a drunk or a drug addict, take Wednesday off, not Monday or Friday. Always show up on Monday and Friday.
But that doesn't give me enough time to recover from my hangover the following day.
Yeah, that's a problem. Yep, you can't store up your hangover and deal with it on Wednesday. That's a problem.
Especially when you get older, your liver doesn't rebound as quickly when you get older.
So for you guys that have the actual, normal sleep schedule, like you work Monday through Friday and then have Saturday and Sunday for weekends, do you sleep later on weekends than you do during the week, or do you follow the same sleep schedule all the way through?
I follow the same schedule every day of the week.
I'm normally up a little bit earlier on weekends.
Leo, why is your background blurred while you're not?
Yeah,
because that's a filter that I'm using on StreamYard.
Oh, well, cool. It's like, what the fuck?
So I used to get hangovers.
Yeah, it is really cool. You could use it, but you'd have to be on camera first.
I mean, I'm too ugly to be on camera.
I had hangovers until I was 24, and then I never had them again. No matter how much I drank, I didn't have hangovers. My liver just said, "Fuck it, fuck it."
Well, okay, Leo, let me ask you a question. If you were gay, would you date me?
I don't know, because I don't know what my type would be if I were gay, because I'm not gay and I'm not attracted to men. So genuinely, I don't know.
Okay.
But you people with the weak genetics getting hangovers from CRISPR. I don't care what your genetics are, CRISPR. 3 full bottles of Merlot.
Oh yeah. Drink wine or drink port wine, or some of that. Like the first time I had a really bad hangover or got really sick when I was drunk, I was drinking a gallon of port wine, and I was in some dude's car and he was going 60 miles an hour and I threw up. And it just at 60 miles an hour, fucking vomiting out the window. Oh my God, I was sick. Oh, I'll never forget the headache the next morning. It was a major thing.
I very rarely ever throw up when I used to get drunk. If I did, it was normal. It was normally because I involved tequila somewhere.
I used to just not get drunk. Like I would drink, but just not.
So do you know what I would do? So I turned it into an art form. So I would, at 12 o'clock at night when the bar was about to close, you had 1 hour left to drink. I would go into the bathroom, put my fingers down my throat and throw up all the, the acid beer that I had drank, because I drank a lot of beer. And then I would be able to go and drink until, last call. So I turned it into an art form.
You know, a guy that did that in the army, he was on the pills to that would, if you drank, you'd get sick because you were on this medication. He'd just make himself throw up before he went to the club.
Oh, that, what the hell is that called? There was a drug they gave us, and I was on it for quite a while. It would, if you drank after you took that thing, your heart rate would go up to 180, and you would projectile vomit across the room. What the hell was that called? I forget what it was, but
I don't know.
They were treating alcoholism with it.
Yeah, I don't remember the heart rate thing, but I knew that they get sick.
It could kill you. It could actually kill you. So you were supposed to go to the hospital because it could actually kill you if you drank. And the first time I was in treatment when I was 24, this guy was telling a story, and he was on that. And his girlfriend and him had a big argument, and she had a quart of wine in the refrigerator. And he had just taken the pills, right? And he thought, okay, if I drink this really fast, then it won't affect me. So he just guzzled the whole quart down and projectile vomited across the room and hung onto his bed for the next 8 hours while his heart was racing, right? Trying to get over it. It really makes you sick. Pretty bad shit.
All right, Speed. I know Dessel gives you a hard time all the time, but that last comment was really good.
Yeah, it was.
What's that?
Read Dessel. Yeah, that one on the screen.
True scientific. Yeah, drinking down to a science. Yeah, I had it down to a science. Yep. So I lived
Speed,
in this
our resident drinkologist.
Yeah, I lived in this hotel, and one night somebody had sloe gin, and I drank a ton of sloe gin. And we had this hotel, you didn't have your own bathroom, so it was a community bathroom. There were all these construction workers down there, and the bathroom was pure white. I mean, everything in the whole fucking bathroom was white. And I went in there and I just projectile vomited it all over the fucking place. And this construction worker walked in, looked at all of this red all over the white, He just pivoted he pivoted and took off and left. Never went to the bathroom. It's fuck this.
Yeah, what Gur wrote in the chat about you can call a place if you're in Las Vegas and they'll come over. They specialize in hangovers and they'll hook you up with an IV.
Oh, nice.
I've actually had that. It does help if you get a nice IV drip following a really bad bender. But I've heard that while you're drinking, one of the things to do is to take, if you have it available, take hits of oxygen.
Oh, I wish I'd known these things. I did find that speed helped. When you were really drunk.
Don't get me started. Well, I made the mistake of I used to take Fedra supplements, the thermogenic fat burners, because they help with PT and stuff like that, give you energy. I like those things better than coffee. And man, I could put away some alcohol on those. And one time I had taken 2, done PT that day, ate good, and then some of the guys started drinking, and we were hitting it hard. I blacked out for 5 hours.
Yeah, I was up to 200 of those a day, 225 milligram ephedrine a day.
I was walking around and most people didn't even know I was drunk. And after those 5 hours, they gave me a breathalyzer, and I was a 0.17.
Holy shit! My mom warned me about people like you guys. Holy crap!
That was the only time I ever did it, and it was the last time I ever did it. That was bad. I blew a 0.42 once at when they hauled me into the emergency room, and I managed to talk the doctor into thinking that his breathalyzer was wrong, and they let me go. I mean, that's pretty high. That's like supposed to be fatal, right? I drank 35 Heinekens in one afternoon. It's like, holy shit. Yeah. How did you even? Heineken
I ran over a phone booth. Huh? What's that?
Heineken just goes right through me. It's just like.
Yeah. No, I can pound down a lot of beer real fast.
It's like Corona, Corona beer. It just goes right. I mean, I start drinking one of those, and it's just like halfway through a 24-ounce bottle, and I'm like, okay, I got to pee. It's like a racehorse.
Yeah, that was the night I ran over to the phone booth and had like 6 cop cars gathered around me. And I staggered out and leaned on my hood and said, "Am I in some legal trouble?" and you know what they said to me? I was in rural Minnesota, right? They said, "No, sir, we're just worried about you. Your girlfriend said you were suicidal." And it's like, "Oh, okay. We're going to put you in this nice ambulance and we're going to haul you to the hospital." Am I in some legal trouble? I just I bent over this pole in front of this phone booth, and it was like my car was sitting on top of the pole, and it's like, yeah, am I in some legal trouble? I wasn't. They didn't arrest me. I have no fucking idea why. They should have.
What year was this?
That was in 1998. That was Carver County, Minnesota, though, where all the entire sheriff's department, they were all alcoholics. Huh. So they understood what I was going through. They empathized with me. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, those cold weather states, you gotta love them.
Yeah.
Why is Gurr just being a little dirty chat rat right now? Why doesn't he get his ass in here?
He's a little dirty chat rat.
He's actually watching another stream while.
Yeah, because he's a little fucking chat rat.
Yeah.
I know you're not as manly. Whoever said you were manly?
Yeah, I was going to say, who even said that he was manly to begin with?
The only man part about you is in your name.
Yeah.
So, Growmania and manly, I just never, the two never occurred to me.
Anyway, this show went sideways, didn't it?
Or you could be manly, but I don't know. I just never thought of it that way. Yeah, it kind of went sideways, but this is like the general store of the internet, where we're sitting out on the porch in rocking chairs, whittling, and just saying what's on our minds.
Yeah. Anyway, kids, don't drink. Don't take drugs.
Don't drink, guys. Don't drink.
No, I don't know why the hell. Like I've been sober for 15 years, April 1st, and I don't understand why anybody would drink alcohol.
Guys, don't drink
that in your body.
Well, now
just
you'll
pull it off.
Shut the bottle down.
You'll pull it off better, Leo, if you just punch a hole in it and shotgun that shit.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
No, because that's not how alcoholics do it. Alcoholics just drink.
The thought of drinking alcohol right now just makes me completely sick. Even the thought of just that first little buzz makes me I mean, it just horrifies me. I hate the feeling. I don't know if I ever liked it. I'm not sure.
Okay, Mom.
What's that?
Okay, Boomer.
I
What?
said, okay, Mom. It's like my mom. My mom doesn't like painkillers for that reason.
Yeah, I don't like those either. They make me fuzzy. Unless I'm going to have a medical procedure, then I'm like all about, give me drugs. Give me drugs. Give me drugs. Anyway, yeah, it really horrifies me now to think about not being completely sober after being sober as long as I have, because of some of the shit I went through. I mean, I went through some dark times. Drinking was pretty much like 1% of it was fun for me. The other 99% was really shit. I mean, it was really bad.
I had some good times drinking with I didn't start drinking until I was in the military. So
I remember I had a good time when I was 12 at that one party. That's the one I remember. And then I chased that high for the rest of my life and never actually got there again. So the first time I ever got drunk was on Southern Comfort. And I was 19. Ow.
Talk about puke.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, that's so bad.
That's a bad way to go.
Oh shit! I don't even remember. No, the first time I got drunk was on Budweiser. Yep.
My dad had 150 gallons of wine down in the cellar that he made in these barrels, and when he made it out of one day he hauls in a truckload of grapes, right? And he made all this wine. One of the barrels went to vinegar. He started out with 200 gallons, but we ended up with 50 gallons of wine vinegar. But the other 150 gallons, I was down there, my entire teenage year tapping into that wine. And when I was 12 years old, I remember that it was fun. But after that, it sucked.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason you're still alive today. All those tannins saturated your cells.
Probably. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough road, alcoholism, I'll tell you. It's not. It really isn't all that fun.
I remember my father-in-law saying, he's like, "Yeah, I never got AA, Alcoholics Anonymous." I was like, "Oh, really?" And he goes, "Nobody really." He's like, "If you're just gonna, if you got a problem drinking, just stop drinking, But nobody. Yeah. I don't want to hear how you're a quitter."
Yeah.
He's his sense of humor, and old movie guy. So
yeah, us quitters.
This coming from the guy that he'd get pretty good and drunk, steal his buddy's car, wrap it around a tree, roll it, that kind of shit.
Yeah,
he kind of built up a reputation for like being like an evil, because they would find him like next to somebody's car, just the car's in a heap in the ditch, and he's sitting there freaking still drinking a beer or whatever he was drinking at the time, just laughing his ass off. And completely totaled the car. I'm like, how are you not dead? He's like, yeah, your trick is to be really relaxed, and you're pretty relaxed when you're drunk. So
my dad had this friend named Shorty Hill, and his car was like almost 90% of the time that he owned the car, it was in the ditch between the Four Corners and our farm. And so you could actually give directions by, go about a mile past Shorty's car. Would always be in the ditch.
Yeah, he told me stories about the near beer that was authorized to drink when he was in the Navy, and he goes, "Yeah, this stuff's like 3.5% alcohol." He goes, "You spend more time pissing than you do drinking, trying to get drunk on that shit."
That's near enough. That's close beer. Yeah, so you just got to drink twice as much. You just got to have good kidneys, You'd be able to process that shit.
He told us some interesting stories about his naval days in the Navy. But you're talking, oh man, this is probably, let me see. This would have been like late 50s, early 60s that he was in. So.
Guess what time it is, guys?
Shooter in the head time.
Shooter in the head time. Yeah, I think we've done enough damage today. Managed to be mean to Rebecca. And
you weren't that bad.
I was pretty bad.
I'm going to have to go back and listen to that. I missed that.
I was angry.
He was prickly. You weren't angry. I've heard you angry.
He was definitely prickly, but like I said, it's because Sal will not be an intellectual man and have a discussion.
Right. I miss Sal. I miss him. He used to be my friend, and I miss him.
Oh, as a matter of fact, too, I don't know if anybody saw. Jason's wrote it in the side chat there that Smokey went after Rebecca too.
Yeah, I heard that.
Pretty hard, yeah.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Yeah.
Who has Smokey not gone after?
Have we not realized that
exactly,
Smokey is insulted by women more intelligent and capable than him?
Yeah, he's afraid of intelligent women.
I don't know. He gets a lot of views on his videos, and I have no idea why. I mean, after you listen to his adjectives, and I mean, he's got this incredible voice and incredible dialogue when he goes after people, but after you've heard it once or twice, it's kind of boring. So I don't know.
Well, why do you go to the races? You go to see a pile up. Why do you why do you watch hockey games in case there's a fight,
I suppose.
My brother actually gave a pretty insightful theory on Smokey's thing. I'm not going to say it here. It's something to be talked about off air, but it was pretty funny. We were talking about it. He was talking about a couple comments something that Smokey wrote on somebody's comment thread, and my brother got a tickle out of it. So
maybe we'll do it backstage after we shoot her in the head, guys. We're going to shoot her in the head now. Okay.
Accessible only to those who have an all-exclusive backstage pass.
Chamber that round, Speed. Chamber that round. Take it off safe. Squeeze the trigger.
I'm about to squeeze the trigger, but Top
Don't
Dog's
forget to aim for the head.
Top Dog has to say something first.
Stay curious.
Okay. Goodbye, cruel world. See you guys.